But to see that Russia is still living, sort of 100 years back, I just, so many of us, myself included, just extremely disappointed in the president of such a powerful and educated country could be so homophobic.
The really great thing about the LGBT movement is that there are lots of leaders, and it's a movement, which means that nobody owns it, nobody controls it. We have the ability to all pick the pieces of the equality puzzle that speak most closely to us and fight for those issues specifically. And somehow, organically, it's all intended to come together and make us all more equal.
And what's happening in Russia and Nigeria and Uganda, and they're kind of emboldened some of these leaders to take on the LGBT community and put people in prison, put people to death, torture. They're rounding up people. It's President Clinton did a statement about the situation in Uganda, which is horrific. And so we need to, as the United States and the LGBT community here, we need to really help our friends abroad in these countries. And while it's a frightening thing to do because there's serious consequences, we need to really all step up and take this campaign for equality to the world.
The LGBT movement it exists because we're a conglomeration of lots of different types of people, and that means we have different types of needs as an LGBT community. Some of us need marriage equality. Some of us need safe schools. Some of us need immigration equality. There are lots of issues that affect the LGBT community, and they're not all the same for every person. So we need to make sure that as we're fighting, we're multitasking. We're working on multiple issues at once. We're prioritizing only when it comes to strategy of what we can get done, and not when it comes to what is most important for our community. Because the reality is that all of these issues are the #1 issue to someone in our community. And we have a lot of work to get done, so we have to be united in our fight for equality and not divided.
I've seen a lot of the reports, and we've got some heroes in the movement. I love President Obama, who sent a gay delegation over to Russia with Ryan Bottano, and should have been Billie Jean King. I guess she's still going to try and go for the final days of the Olympics, but a real slap in the face to Vladimir Putin that our official delegation, then of course is Janet Napolitano, who always rumored to be a lesbian, former governor of Arizona and head of Homeland Security, and now the chancellor of the University of California system. But it's pretty amazing that that he has stood up as boldly as he has, and then Secretary Clinton the same in her speech at the UN in Geneva, I think, taking on all these countries. And we need to get tough if they're going to terrorize and arrest and do the horrific things like we saw in Nazi Germany. We're standing up as a nation to stop all that. And so I think it's important that we have all of our leaders in the country and our LGBT activists and our donors step up to the plate and take on these tyrannical dictatorships.
For the very brave activists in Russia who are being activists around LGBT issues in a country that is very problematic when it comes to LGBT issues and frankly free speech issues in general, their bravery is commendable. I think that we all can learn a lot from that bravery and that courage. I think that regardless of what they're doing right or wrong, we have lessons in the United States that we can share. And we also have financial support we can provide to LGBT movements in Russia to assist them in their efforts, which includes political efforts as well to change the people that are making these draconian laws.
And we need to ostracize people like Putin. It's going to be a lot tougher in Africa and Uganda and Nigeria, but someone like Putin who's really trying to be on the world stage, I think we can pressure into doing the right thing and maybe rescinding some of these laws. But he's very effective. He's run that country for the last 15 years, 20 years. Even when he was out, he had a puppet in there as president, and he was the prime minister. So I think we have to deal with him, and I think we can appeal to him in a kind of a pressure diplomatic way to back away from these horrific laws.